Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, Dr. Mongy, one final question because we're running out of time now. You've mentioned that one of the biggest obstacles is the second generation, that really we've sort of lost a lot of our intertrade with Africa, and you've mentioned sending young businessmen to Africa to start and build up this cultural trust between Egypt and the rest of the African states. And you've also mentioned the private sector. Now, Egypt has been pushing for strengthening the private sector for a few years now, but what still needs to be done? Is there a quicker fix than starting to build a new cultural trust between the young businessmen and the private sector here in Egypt and the rest of the African continent? Is there a faster, quicker fix?
Yes, I agree 100% with your words that we need to build a new trust between young business people. This number one. Number two, I need to mention that if any Egyptian businessman is dealing with African countries, we should mention Egypt is dealing with Africa, not private sector.
Yes.
Because of what this private sector should be backing by the government. Okay, this number two, the culture, of course, it changed in Africa. So we should push our young to go to penetrate again African market, because this is what happened exactly. We should learn from the experience of China and India and the other countries. They sent young business people. The last point that we should encourage the role of social society or civil society organization, because this what we call the smart action to rebuild again the relation with Africa. In fact, future in Africa, not only Egypt would like to go back to Africa, but even the superpower, including Russia, China, United States of America, all of them will go back to African continent. It's the future.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the future lies within the private sector, backed by the government. Really encouraged, talking about the young businessmen, the youth, civil society organizations, a role to be played to encourage and strengthen and solidify Egypt's seat within the African continent. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my distinguished guest, His Excellency Dr. Mongy Badr, the Minister, Plenipotentiary and Board Member of the UN Association of Egypt. Your Excellency, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for you, and thank you for your team.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.